Hey guys, it's Otti again. I'm sitting here in an online call with Jörgen from Psychotic Youth. Hi, first of all.
Hello.
Hi. I just did a review about your new album, and we thought we maybe could do some Zoom talk and go a little bit deeper into your band. So this is your first Zoom call ever. That's right?
Yeah, it was a bit difficult to set up.
Yeah, but finally it worked out, and I think it's a cool new world. We can talk a little bit and see where it leads. But first of all, as hopefully some people watch that don't know about Psychotic Youth, what's your band all about? What's the spirit of the band?
Oh, the spirit of the band. We were teenagers when we started this, and uh, we came from way up north in Sweden. And you either had the choice to play ice hockey or skiing, outdoors stuff, or music. And most of us did all that, but just music was the only way to get girls. Yeah, it's the same old story. So we started playing music, and you grow a lot as a band together if you play music instead of just doing hockey or skiing. It's more like a social thing, and that's how we started. We became friends and started to do stuff together to be proud of.
And your music is, to explain to the people, is like a kind of pop punk, even a little bit of surf punk influences, I would say. So how did you discover the punk music and the punk scene back then?
Actually, it was because we went, me and the bass player Anders went to a show way up north and looked at the Nomads, the Swedish band, and we were totally blown away. And we went backstage after the show, and I got a list from the guitar player Hans, and I told him I want to play this music. And he made the list for me about 15 albums. You should have these if you want to do this. And 2 weeks later, I took my whole month salary from the car factory we worked at and went to Stockholm. It was 1,000 kilometers away and back just to get there. And I bought every record on the list. And that's how the band started, because of Hans in the Nomads.
That's cool, yes. And did you have already, or did you play guitar already back then?
Yeah, I played guitar in a couple of bands before that, but it was spread out from Johnny Thunders covers to the Police. It's way different. We had a David Bowie cover band playing in some stuff in Sweden that was successful, but it wasn't not my kind of music.
Okay, but it was a cool training, I think. Good training to be a good guitar player, good musician, to do Bowie stuff.
Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I loved Elvis Presley. So I learned to play Elvis Presley songs. That's how it became this way.
The rock and roll style. You can, a little bit, I think you can hear Elvis Presley influences in your music as well, somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the 50s.
Yeah,
Doo-wop, Elvis, all that. Shakin' Stevens,
Yeah. That's cool. So it's a, rock and roll. Just rock and roll feeling that comes through in many songs. Nice. And we can't talk about all the almost 40 years now. It was in the middle of the 80s when we started the band. So it would be a little bit too much to take the whole history of the band in this interview. But maybe you can tell about 2 or 3 important moments in between till now that happened.
Oh, it's like the first one with the Nomads. That's how the band started. And on Friday in Sweden, they're going to have a 40th anniversary of the first mini album. And I'm going to be on stage with the Nomads. Oh. It's like putting the sack and together. That was the first, and then we lived way up in the north. There was no places to play. no venues, nothing. So we had to move. So we moved in '87 to Gothenburg just to play. And half the band had to quit. They had other stuff to do. They couldn't come with us. But the rest of us stayed in Gothenburg and started out again. I did Some Fun album, which was successful. And at that point, I just listened to Australian music. Australia, all the bands from Lion Spiders and all those, because I ran a rock club in Gothenburg.
Oh, cool.
And all those bands came through Sweden at that point. So I booked them all. Every band from Australia played at my place. And that's how I got hooked up on doing punk, surf, garage, more like, like Some Fun music. And after Some Fun, we did that for a couple of years. And then I didn't have any money. So I walked around and checked the record stores and the cheap boxes that I had, like, you can buy this for 1 krona. And it was all power pop.
Okay.
That was the most, you can get a Paul Collins first album for like 5 kronor. So I bought a couple of hundreds of those records, went home and listened to it, and I realized this is a really good music. So I changed the style from Australia to power pop. It's just the same intensity, but it's more melodic. And after that, I stayed with power pop. And then I can take out the early garage stuff and put in rockabilly and anything I want. But just from like 92, it's only power pop that we do.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's a long time. And yes, this is interesting how sometimes small things like having small money can change your way and your world.
Yeah, it's poor man's music, power pop.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did the same when I was young, buying every record I could get. Should be some guitars in it or something alternative, but as long as it was cheap, I bought it and said, okay, listen to it and see what it is. That's how I found my wide range of music that I like. It's really cool.
Yeah, usually you can see it on the cover of the album if you like it or not. You can see the style.
That's a cool Stichwort, we would say in Germany, because you have a new album out. That's the reason why we talk. It's called Happy Songs. I even have it here. Just put it over. And as you mentioned, the cover, I really like the cover.
Yeah.
It has a strong feeling, strong atmosphere. So, but I didn't figure out what it wants to tell. So maybe you can tell me what's the idea behind this.
The guy who made the cover, Niklas, is he gave me a couple of 2 or 3 versions of the cover. I think he did it with AI, like that. He just wrote in, I want it to look like this, and it came out 3 different ways. But I like that one because way up north in Sweden, when I was a kid, we didn't have much money, and it was a lot of drugs, a lot of problems. And the cover reminds me of, like, it's me looking at a place in Kramfors, where I come from, where all the drug dealers hang around. And the car on the left looks like my GT Opel from '73.
Oh, cool.
So it came together like, oh, this is me when I was a kid. So you gotta have that. So that's why. So
it's still your youth that influences your music and the things you want to have with
from
music as
well.
Kid,
it reminded me how it was.
So maybe before we go on with the album, What was the most impressing in the Swedish North when you grew up? What have been the things that influenced you as a child, as a teenager?
Actually, there was nothing up there that was my way, what I was interested of. I started my own magazine in '84, I think, just because there was no music magazines that wrote about what I liked up there. I started a band up there because there was no band that sounded like I wanted to sound like up there. It was only, like soft hard rock, like Europe and all that kind of stuff. And it was more like I had to find my own way to make a living up there, or just to be alive up there. And it worked until we got the band going, and we noticed that no one cares. No one cares about us up here. We got 2 gigs a year where people just stand and stare at us and want to see the hard rock band. And then we just decided that we got to move out of here. So we went south.
And I think when we look back to the cover, it's a rather dark cover, but the album is called Happy Songs. So
Yeah.
there's a connection. Are all the songs happy, or is there at least something dark in the songs as well?
There's irony, real deep northern irony in Sweden. It just tell the opposite. It's like shit. The songs is about every shit you happen. So, but it's got people interested because happy songs, and I see the cover and it's like, this is not right. And then we have the lyrics inside the album for the first time. This is the 16th album, and in Europe, I think it's the first time we have the lyrics with it, because I wanted people to read the lyrics and understand it's not happy songs. It's about everything else, but not happy.
Yeah. So for example, what are the topics to explain to the people?
You have songs about suicide, you have songs about girls leaving, you have songs about male, it's like save another girl from me. It's more complex than people just say, oh, you play surf music. No, that's not true.
No, not really. I think so, yes. And the funny thing is, the mood is more happy. The power pop punk music you do is like up tempo, like going forward, and then you have these deep lyrics. So it's a contrast as well that you present to the people. Yeah,
and before this, I think people just listen to the melodies and the up tempo and the harmonies and all that, and thought it's like, oh, this is happy pop. But I always wrote lyrics that are deeper than people. Yeah, then I didn't want to dig into it. It's like, oh, I really like the Japanese. So they translate every lyrics to Japanese. Okay. And I got all those Japanese lyrics and went back and redid them to English. They are very, what do you call, it's like you're reading a book. So they're much emotional. And that's like much better than the stuff I do, because they write it like poems. It's very strange to read. But it's all the lyrics way back has been much deeper than I got credit for. And I got pissed off. And that's why I call it happy songs.
Yeah, I think many people just look at the above and see, okay, it's happy music, it's power music, and as you said, people should read or listen, but I think listening is a little bit more difficult, because when you're into the music and dancing, you don't understand everything. That could be the problem.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
This is. you know, those they're all these examples for misheard lyrics, for example, where people understand totally different things than the artist meant.
Yeah, but that's the same with people say we play surf punk music. That's it. On each album we got like one or mostly two surf influenced songs. The other 12 are totally different. It's more like 77's punk or 79 punk or something. But it's still like, oh, that plays surf music. And that's not true either.
It's people want to label things to make it easy to describe, I think. That's the problem.
Yeah. But I never liked that. I think people should go deeper into it and look at what we're doing.
For sure. And I think I don't know if you watched and understood my review, but I also talked about the cool thing about this album is we have this red line, like power pop punk, like punk rock, but every song has a different feeling. Every song has a different influence, and you can discover it as well.
Yeah. I think at least on happy music, you have every song is different. It's different influences, and I don't think the record before that, Forever and Ever, was more like each song hang on to the one before, and it's like the reminder of each other. It's more like that was real power pop work. But this one is more like, shit, we just do what we want to. We have nothing to declare.
I see. So maybe you can tell under which circumstances you wrote the songs. What has been influencing you the last years or month or when it was written?
I just go into some kind of mode in my head. I know when I start to write songs, I listen to other bands, but I also try to listen to melodies in everything around. And when I go into that mode, I can't shut it down. It's like a flushing a toilet, but it keeps going. So you have to do it. That's why I write songs about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I have to cut it off in some way, get drunk or take sleeping pills or just get out of it, because it's like my brain is like turning around. And I think it's like when you're 14 years old and the songs you listen to when you're 14, they're stuck with you forever. And it's the same influences now as it was when I was at 14. And the brain start pumping those around, and then, you do it till you think, I got enough songs to do an album, and then you gotta get really drunk or get away some way.
Yeah, and that was something I was discovering. The album sounds as it could be written by a teen or 10, by someone that's that old. It has this freshness still of a young person that has this young mind. You often use words like girls or boys or teenage or something. Maybe is it that you go back in your mind in that time?
I don't think I can use the energy from that time, and then you use all the problems that happened to you through all the years to make the songs. It's about girls I met. Yeah, it's not fictional. It's real. And you can write like 10 songs about a girl who left you, but in different ways. So it's all coming. It's going around and around. And the last 5 albums have mostly been about. I got divorced 7 years ago, so I had a lot of influence to write songs about. Yeah,
sure. It's still things going on that have to be worked out in the music.
Yeah, the music is always like when I was a teenager, but the lyrics are more grown up and bitter, if you would call it that.
Yeah, 40 years should be a little bit more mature, maybe, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
And during all these years, as I mentioned, it's almost 40 years now that you're around with your band. So did your audience change in any way? Did you discover some differences?
Actually, no. It's we used to make jokes about our audience. It's like guy in their mid-50s with a Ramones t-shirt. Yeah, with a girlfriend who hates them for their collecting vinyl albums. That's our audience. All over Europe and everywhere else. You can find them even in Japan. It's the same kind of guys.
Yeah. I've discovered some page on Facebook where they show punk all over the world, and it's really funny to see even people in Indonesia, for example, that have punk style and are into the music.
Yeah, that surprised me when we went to Japan, and that people there were more European than we were European, or more American, because they exactly looked like Didi and Joey, and it was like every haircut, everything was perfect. And it's like, oh, is this a museum or what? But they were totally into it, and we didn't expect that. So no, I think we have a good small crowd that follows us the whole time, and that little crowd is why we keep doing this, because we haven't broken and everything. We're a small band that people love, but in a small number.
Yeah, but you have your audience, you have your people, and you have it's like a family, I think, that you don't want to miss.
No, actually, yeah, that's true. We have every time we release something, I have a list about 100 people that I can just say, oh no, this is going to be released, and everyone wants to buy it, but it's not by the thousands.
Yeah, it's rather difficult. I talked to Sasha, your label manager, as well some weeks ago, and it's really hard to get records sold nowadays, because people just say, yeah, I buy, and then they don't. They maybe stream, but buying is not that much anymore.
No, it's like Spotify. It's destroying everything. Yeah, not just people to make a living from doing records. You can't record records and pay for them if no one's buy them. If everyone accept to get it for free, who's gonna record? It's strange times we live in.
Yeah, but I try to tell people that they should buy the record and then stream, having it on the shelf. And they have supported you, and after that they can stream when they're around and walking around and want to use their mobile phones, for example, because the stream at least gives us minimal amount of money, but the record buying is supporting you, or buying t-shirts or stuff. I think this is the best way.
Sorry. Yeah, but that's the 100 in Sweden we have to say thank you to. Who does that? They buy the record and then they stream the record. And then it's the same in Germany. We've got more people doing that. Without them, we couldn't do this. We couldn't go abroad and play anything. I think we would do more records even if no one bought them. But it's cost a lot of money for people just to have this as a hobby they can't afford. at the end. It's like a 10,000 euro just to make an album. Someone's got to pay.
Yeah, that's like this, yes. And the other thing is playing live. You mentioned it. You have been to Japan, for example. Did you have more international shows like America or something in the past?
We never been to America. We were supposed to go there when we quit the band in '99. And the reason why we quit the band, because we didn't want to go to America. It was like 29 shows in 30 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, no, we're too old for that shit. we don't do that. So we quit the band instead.
I see.
And now we do like 3 or 4 shows in Germany and Spain, and we're going, but we can't do like 14 days on the road anymore, which are always.
I think it's even difficult. I discover more and more bands going on weekends, even big bands, young big bands, only playing on weekends because people don't go out for concerts as well. That's the same problem with buying records. Or they started a little bit again after COVID, but it is difficult to get them out. And when they go out, they go to the big names, pay 100 euros for one show, but paying 10 euros for a small show is too much sometimes.
Yeah, that's the same. We were planning to go south in Germany to play now in end of February, like Cologne and those. But every place wants us to play like Friday and Saturday. And you can't go for 2 days. It's no, you have to pay to play. Yes. No one wants you to play on a Tuesday or Wednesday, or so it's you never get below Hamburg. That's the limit. Then you have to go home. But below Hamburg, it's like, no, you have to play there on a Tuesday, and no one wants to see you on a Tuesday. That's the big problem in Germany.
I think so. It's what I discover as well, and I'm going to many concerts, doing photos and stuff. So it's the same here. I'm from the Ruhr area, for example, and you have many clubs, many concerts, but mostly on weekends, as we said. We have full shows, and on Tuesday, Wednesday, it's like, if 10, 20 people come, you can be happy, but it's not enough to pay your stuff.
Yeah, it's like playing at Wild at Heart in Berlin on a Thursday for 200 euros. It doesn't even pay the gasoline to get back to Denmark, and it's not working.
But are there some shows upcoming that are announced yet? I didn't look up, so I just asked.
No, I think we're going to play in 2 weeks in Gothenburg, but in Europe it's going to be the Puke Fest on January 20th. We're going to play the Puke Fest. Trying to talk to Lufthansa. They canceled our tickets twice. We have to find some way to get down to Frankfurt, and we got an offer from SAS, the Swedish company, who has went bankrupt but still selling tickets. It's a mess. We're trying to get to Frankfurt in some way to get to Munster. Let's see how it works. But it's Puke Fest. We're headlining.
Oh, cool. So people outside, go there.
I hope they come. Yeah.
And buy some records and some T-shirts at the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some extra tickets to bring, so you don't go light. It's if you want to bring T-shirts and records, you have to pay like 100 euros more just to bring them. But I hope that's going to be.
And are there any other plans for 2024? For example, next record? Are you working on something?
Not right now. We're going to do Spain in April. We have some smaller shows in Sweden we're going to do. But no, it's like in every band, people are sick. We can't do shows because the drummer has a broken arm or blah 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 blah. So we don't plan too far ahead.
I see. Yeah. Yes. So
But
I
that's
think,
the other thing is we're open to every suggestion. It's
sure. I'll keep my eyes out. Maybe sometimes I also get some contacts where I could play. Maybe something works out.
yeah, I do hope so.
So cool.
I
I
think we're
think
gonna go to Norway and play a bit with Yum Yums and all those friends we have, Randalls and Kahuna Surfers and all those. We do a lot of gigs together.
so. I think we have a lot of stuff now. Do you have any greetings for our watchers or for the people outside, or something you wanna tell the people?
I hope people will take the chance to listen to the new record on Spotify or Bandcamp and get a physical copy to keep. And I know Sasha at Wolverine has several versions, even from gold. And I have printed in orange, and I think it's probably the best album we ever did. And if people liked us from the 90s, they're gonna love this one. So I hope people take their time to listen to us. We're not oldies. We're still here.
As I said, it sounds like a young band, like young and fresh music. So
Yeah.
you definitely know oldies, not.
Mm.
Okay. So I would say thank you for the nice talk and your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
And people outside, thanks for watching. Check out Psychotic Youth. Come to the shows, buy the records, as always. Even if you wanna do it, stream first and then buy the records, maybe. And I would say bye-bye, thanks, and cheers.
Yeah, the same. Take care.